Okay.
This hangout is live because the other application stunk. We're sorry about that, everybody that joining us from our poor attempt at trying to do that. I guarantee you it was not me. It was not Uncle Danny. It was the fact that the app that we were using just did not work very well. But we're going to do this anyway. We're actually going to start over. Unfortunately, we're not going to be laughing at this one. So go ahead and...
No! What happened?
What you do now?
I don't know. I think I fixed it. I made a boo-boo. Okay. So Audacity is up. We will start it in 3, 2, 1, and roll. Welcome back, everybody, and thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. We do apologize for anybody tuning in right now. If you're listening at home, you have no idea what we're talking about, but if you're listening live right now, you completely understand. We did about a 15-minute show, and for some reason, the application we were using decided it didn't want to translate Chris. So we decided we don't like to give you poop. We don't want to give you crap. So we want to give you the best possible content out there, the best audio, the best visuals. So we're going to start all over. So with that being said, guys, thank you for tuning into Behind the Ears Podcast. I am your host, Uncle Danny. Alongside of me tonight is Mr. Sniffles, a.k.a. Mr. Chris. Chris, how we doing?
Fine. I'm doing good. Yes. Boy, what a day. You just try to do a nice little podcast, and technology just dumps all over you sometimes. And you know what? The only thing we got to do is we got to laugh. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, you can't really, nothing else we can do. But before we jump into the newly 2.0 version of today's show, I'd like to take a moment to once again thank our sponsor, the Fantastic Memories Travel, and its Mousemaster Travel Group. The Mousemaster Travel Group focuses on Disney destination vacations, and the Mousemaster agents would love to take care of those stressful parts of vacation planning. So, you guys can download the Behind the Ears podcast, kick back, relax, and wait in Peter Pan's flight. You can find them at mousemastertravel.com. Okay, Chris, so round 2, what do you got?
Ding. Okay, that was the round 2 bell. I know, horrible sound effects today. So, the other day it was brought up that the new plans for the Disney dining plan, or the new prices for the Disney dining plan, just recently came up. I wanted to bring that up, and I wanted to also just mention, I know in the past it makes it, comments I've made it sound like I am anti-dining plan, and that is not the case. I want to make sure everybody's really clear on that. I'm not anti-dining plan. What I am is I'm anti thinking that everything fits everybody all the time. It's not an easy question to answer when someone asks, should I do the dining plan? So let me give you just a little example. The dining plan for the quick service went up a few bucks. It's up now to $48.19. For the kids, it's $20.88. It actually went up less than $1. For the adults, it went up, less than $2. For the regular dining plan, it's gone up from $67.33 to $69.35. So almost 2 full bucks. No, I'm sorry, $2.02. And for kids, it's actually, again, it also only went up less than $1. I'm not going to get into the deluxe dining plan, mainly because I've never used it. I probably would if it was just a thing for my wife and I, that we were going to do just a foodie type trip and a lot of the extras, but still, it doesn't, a few bucks difference compared to last year is actually pretty good. But let me just throw this out at you. You still have to figure out if it's worth it for you. If you're thinking about $12 to $14 for a quick service, you've got to get at least, if you're doing the regular dining plan, you got to get at least $50 to $55, including your dessert, your drink, and your main entree as a value. Then like at least $4 for your snack. I'm not counting the refillable cup, because I'm thinking that's kind of like a value add. And that could kind of be difficult to hit if, you're not a heavy eater, or you don't like certain things. But it is a great idea if you're doing a lot of character meals, because those cost cash, big cash. So,
Yeah, let's touch on this. I did an episode, but you guys wouldn't know that because it's not out yet. But on that episode, I had talked about the top 10 quick service because, me and Chris, we do like our fine dining, but like I brought up in the show, this trip coming up in March is going to be strictly quick service, and then eating and drinking around the Flower and Garden Festival. And when I brought the conversation up to my buddy and I said, hey, listen, do you want to get the meal plan? He doesn't know much about Disney, so I broke it down for him. And there's a calculator online. I like to do things a little bit by hand. And we had talked, and I said, listen, basically in a roundabout way, without getting too much in the money, you have to spend between like $50 and $60 a day. I said, can you eat $50 or $60 a day? So he said, well, I don't know if Disney prices too well. So we went online, and most quick service places, like Chris said, they're between $10 and $15. I mean, if you go to Morocco, which we all talk about all the time, we love the Morocco quick service. You're pushing that $25 to $30 envelope. But I like to go to Morocco when I'll go there once on this trip, but then if I had the dining plan, I'll go more, because the whole point of the dining plan is to get the best quality of food, obviously, but you want the most bang for your buck. It's very simple. So if you can go get a crap load of food on a plate for $30, that's really good, you go get it when you have the food plan. But if I'm looking to conserve money and I'm not on the food plan, let's just eat somewhere I can get a burger or something along the lines of that where it's a little bit cheaper. So I mean, with the prices going up, okay, I mean, prices are going up all the time in Disney. Is that really a shock to anybody? It's not really a shock to Chris or myself. But I mean, see, I think I'm a little more pro dining plan than Chris might be. That's not saying Chris is anti dining plan. We just have different outlooks on things. But I mean, I would still do it.
I think that if I was doing character meals still the same way I was doing character meals 10 years ago, I would definitely do it. I would say, especially if you're going to do character meals and then a really nice non-character meal at the same time, you can easily get yourself some good value out of it. It's about value. And
the only problem is those 2 dining credits you have to use sometimes for restaurants. You're kind of like,
for sometimes,
but I mean, it's a majority of the really nice restaurants. If you're looking for a couple nice nights out, you're there for 5 days. So you have 5, say, sit down dinners. You essentially if you go to 1, that means 1 night you're not eating. Okay. So you want to go to 2, you want to go to California Grill, and you want to go to Yachtsman. Well, right there's 4 credits. So 2 dinners just took away more than 3/4 of your week.
But here's also the thing you have to take in consideration. What are you going to get for the value? Okay, because like if I just mentioned, you need to get $50 to $55 worth of credit at table service restaurant for 1 dining credit.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go ahead and you get, you go to California Grill and you get like their filet, which is probably that in itself is more than $50. I'm not looking at that. Plus a dessert, which can easily be $10 to $15. I mean, you're approaching that level, but you may not hit it. That's what I'm saying. You have to kind of do some math.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so my whole take on it is still do the math, pay cash for the 2 service or for the 2 dining credit table service places like Cali Grill. Use it for something else, later. It's all about the planning. And
what do you expect out of it, though? I mean, like if you're going to be going to 50s Prime Time or Sci-Fi or places like that every night for dinner,
you're never going to get it.
Yeah, you'll never hit it. I mean, what you can get? What Mama's or Grandma's chicken pot pie or Mom's fried chicken from 50s Prime Time? You're looking at what, $17 to $20?
Yeah, I mean, even if you bought the most expensive thing on the menu there at 50s Prime Time, or even if you go to Sci-Fi or Beaches and Cream,
yeah,
I mean, you're not going to pay more than $15 to $20 for.
But what's
everything.
the kitchen sink go for? That's got to be like $30.
That's not counted though. I don't think you can't get the kitchen sink. I mean, you can't get the kitchen sink as a part of your dining plan. I'm virtually positive it's $22 or something like that. It's $20 to $25. I mean, it's gargantuan.
Hey,
But
that's ridiculous. That's too much ice cream. I
no,
work in the ice cream industry, people. I promise you, that's too much ice cream.
it is, and it's more of a novelty than it
Yeah.
is for that. I not to go off on tangent, but I would so go for the No Way Jose over the kitchen sink any day of the week.
You've said
Um,
that before. I'm gonna try the No Way Jose when I'm down
uh,
there.
dude, it's big, it's totally shareable, it's chocolate, it's peanut butter. What else can what else could you want? What can go wrong? But no, you kind of still have to just do some menu checking. I know that Mouse Planet has menus. I know that allears.net has menus that you can go look at,
Yeah.
and most of them are usually up to date. Go for it. Go take a look. See what if it makes sense to you. But as I'm saying, it's gone up, and let us know.
At least it
what
didn't go
No, it didn't. It's probably the least. It's the least blip on the radar when it comes to what's gone up over the past few weeks. But if our listeners have any ideas, thoughts, comments about the dining plan itself, or even the cost, let us know. Give us a ring. Drop us a line over at Behind the Ears Podcast at gmail.com.
All right, Chris. I think that we should get into the second topic we wanted to talk about tonight. And it was actually the topic that I was most looking forward to because I want to see how this all plays out.
Okay. So here's the deal.
Okay.
Everybody knows I love photography, and I love to use love to use the PhotoPass service. It's really cool. We use it to its fullest extent, and we try to hit every photographer that we possibly can. We just have fun with it too. So recently, Disney announced that they were going to have a new physical prop PhotoPass experience over by the Tangled toilets, or the Rapunzel potties, as I know my family usually calls them. And it's a nighttime type of thing where they view the physical lantern that Rapunzel kind of like releases up into the air, right? And it's really kind of cool. It's kind of glowing, and you got the Tangled toilets in the background. But I saw a picture. I'm trying not to laugh when I say this. I saw a picture the other day of a family oohing and eyeing over the cool glowing lantern, and there is some dude walking out of the bathroom itself.
Just little piece of toilet paper right behind him.
I know I didn't see that, but but there's got to be something with it. I mean, you got to stop and say to yourself, self,
is this the best plan?
I mean, okay, seriously. I will tell you this. I do have some really cool night shots of the Tangled toilets, but there is not a single person in the frame. Okay, it's a really cool looking area at night, but you wouldn't suspect that it's for bathrooms. And I still say it's such an underserved storyline, and it just is so cool. Anyway, but yeah, I was joking around. Danny and I were joking around earlier before we started recording the first time, even, and I started laughing and thinking to myself, dude, just there's some bad planning in this. I mean, you could have this awesome shot, but to have some guy, he's either like you said, toilet paper on the foot.
Newspaper under the arm, just walking.
Newspaper under the arm, maybe screaming kid and alongside. It's very apparent too, depending on how the photographer frames the shot. And now I would laugh at a shot like that. I really would. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I hope our photographers, friends that listen, understand I love you guys. I really do. But yeah, there's some potential for some funny pictures that are going to end up on some kind of weird website.
You better watch your Instagram. I might be making some sweet memes out of that spot over there.
Now that would be funny.
I already I'll tell you guys one. Okay, this one's gonna happen. It's just I don't know how well it's gonna come out, but I'll tell you one fun photo that we've planned out, and I will not take credit for it. It has been done before. I just want to be one of the followers. I want to be a sheep in this situation. We're gonna go on Splash Mountain, and right at the last drop, we want to open up the newspaper. as you're dropping.
Eh.
I think it's gonna be fantastic. But we have some really, really fun ideas. I do appreciate my best friend being he wants to be a part of it. Let's just leave it at that. So we have some really cool ideas lined up, and I'm super excited for this trip coming up. So how was your weekend?
Well, obviously I wasn't thinking about stuff to do for my next trip, but I was getting ready to go on another business trip. So everybody should be prepared for that. We all know that if you follow me on Instagram, or I'm even going to try to post some stuff over on the Behind the Ears podcast Facebook page. But it was one of those cases where I may cross the line where I'll have enough frequent flyer points to actually have a free round trip ticket to go anywhere I want. And of course, that started me thinking, what's the one thing that's holding me back from going down to Disney and probably crashing, Uncle Danny's birthday party? It's called transportation. So, it's just one of those things. I was thinking to myself, could I afford to do that sort of thing? I don't know.
It would money for Disney.
It would be a trip. I mean, it would be a total trip. But, the fact of the matter is I probably still don't have the fundage to be able to do that sort of thing. And then my kids would get all upset because I didn't take them with. Not to mention my wife would probably be upset because I didn't take her with. And,
Daddy's running a business. No.
Yeah. And I think part of the business is, to try certain things that I've seen. There's supposedly a new Alco adult beverage over at the American Adventure that looks really, really good. There's a jalapeno margarita that's available over in Mexico. To me, that just sounds, it doesn't sound like it should be good, but it actually sounds good. I'm not a drinker. Painful. Everybody knows it. Well, yeah, as I said, I'm not a drinker. Everybody knows I'm not a drinker. So it would be one of those things I'd be like, I'd take a sip. Here, Danny, you could have the rest. Because it's just, I'm just not a drinker. But,
Speaking
it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, I had some scotch yesterday. I put it on the Diz Dads page. If you guys are any of the dads out there, or anybody who enjoys bacon and beer, that seems to be the central location of what this page is about, is beer and bacon, which who doesn't love beer and bacon? Go check them out. But the free plug for you guys over there. But I got a lot of love from some of the scotch I have over the weekend. We had driven out to almost Philly, but it was in New Jersey. It's a little hole in the wall place, and you guys wouldn't even know where it is. But we went to go see. Oh gosh, we did this before. What was it? John Wick? Is that what it was? Is that what I went to go watch? Yes, John Wick.
Jack Reacher.
No, you thought it was Jack Reacher. It was John Wick.
John Wick. Okay,
it was John Wick. It's the Keanu Reeves movie. You know what? If you guys like action movies, all right, you know how most movies they start off and they'll give you like the director and like they'll slowly play into it. No. It's a tad bit of a spoiler, but I won't say what happens. But you basically start out in the middle of a car chase. And it's a good 15-20 minutes of the movie before it goes into like, oh, directed by so-and-so, by so-and-so production. I was like, wow, it was something different. It was really, really cool. And then tonight, what do I got going on tonight? I was trying to go on a date. You know how that goes. Uncle Danny kind of strikes out once in a while. More often than I'd like to admit. And then I got a hockey game. But, I'm getting a little upset though, Chris. I'm gonna be serious here. My Magic Bands are not here yet. And now they're in Pennsylvania.
Wait a second.
Yeah. The logic behind
we talked about this like 4 or 5 days ago, and they've only made it to Pennsylvania.
They've been on the road since the 13th.
Oh my gosh.
And it came from Davenport, Florida. 13 days and they're still not here.
Okay, so I guess the Pony Express is still around.
I feel like they just passed New Jersey and they're just gonna come back down. Like it sounds like to call and be like, I'll just pick up at will call, thank you.
I'm like, did they accidentally enter the world of Westworld or something like that? And
yeah, it's
wild. And did the whole Pony Express bit there. Sorry, I just binge watched that entire first season of Westworld. I don't think I probably should have, but it was.
I
Really
forgot
good.
I had to ask you this. You travel a lot.
I
and
do.
we know the last time you were on your travel trip that we tried to do a show and your internet was subpar.
Yeah, I'm really not looking forward to this one as well, but that's an entirely different story.
That's okay. We'll see what happens. You still got to try it. Have you experienced, or maybe some of our guests have experienced, you guys can, email us over behindthearspodcast@gmail.com. But how is Disney's Wi-Fi inside the resorts, and specifically inside the parks and or inside Riverside? Because that seems to be, that's the hotel I'm staying at. So
that's a really good question. I'll give you my 30-second experience with it.
Okay.
It's okay. It'll get you through.
Okay.
But it's what I tend to do is I tend to go into airplane mode when I'm not trying to actually grab data from somewhere. It tends to work really well in the morning.
Okay.
And then as the network gets more and more congested as guests come in, it gets slower and slower and slower, which I don't want to say
speaking inside the parks though.
Inside the parks, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're starting with that. I mean, the thing is, it gets slower as the number of guests arrive and start tapping into the network. That is kind of like an inherent behavior of Wi-Fi technology. Now, they've done a lot to improve that system, which is really cool, but it can get a little slow. Sometimes I've actually switched over to just cellular network just to be able to get certain pieces of information. I find it to be a lot better at the hotels, even in the hotel rooms. And while I haven't stayed, well, let's see. When I stayed at French Quarter a couple summers ago, it was good. I mean, it was pretty. You can get a good amount of coverage throughout.
Enough to do a show
throughout the resort. I'm gonna say yeah. I mean, are you planning on taking your laptop with you?
Yeah.
Well, I do know. Well, they used to have wired access as well, but I don't know if some of the renovations, if they took away that wired access, just take an Ethernet cable with you.
Okay, that's good. That's good advice for anybody right there.
Again, I don't know.
Hey, what's an extra pound in your bag? Not even for a wire.
If you can't handle the extra 6 ounces of a Ethernet cable, then you're packing way too much stuff for a week.
You have a bigger problem on your hands.
Yeah, so give that a shot.
Oh, all right, cool. Yeah, so because I see people go Facebook Live all the time, but I mean, Facebook Live really doesn't start to mess up until you bring in other applications like we're doing, where things start to get snagged. I mean, you can go basically anywhere with 2 bars and go on Facebook Live. I mean, the quality. I mean, you could tell who's got better service and not. But I mean, every morning I'm waking up to several different people doing Facebook Live stuff inside the park. So I figured for the fun stuff, just walking around and just being like, oh, you guys might get annoyed by it. And if you are, please let us know. But I mean, that entire week, you might see me like every hour pop on for 5 minutes, just being like, hey, Behind the Ears podcast doing this in Disney. And it'll just be me talking about what's going on that day. And that's really the end of it. But I mean, we still want to do our normal shows while we're in there.
Yeah, I would say expect more network congestion at times of larger scale events, parades, fireworks, opening shows, things like that. Because everybody is trying to stream that stuff, which is cool. Because whether or not you're doing Facebook Live, you're trying to grab some from streams for Instagram, or if people are doing periscoping. There's a lot of people, and I'm going to geek out here for a second, but all that is a shared network. You are sharing the bandwidth with all of your, guests and neighbors. So, you just have to take that into consideration.
Yeah, and like anybody who else maybe does podcasting or periscoping, and you guys listen to us, me and Chris had talked about this before, but what I had said was like, we're super excited for River of Lights. So everything we've seen, we're super excited for. We were so pumped when we got that fast pass.
Oh yeah.
So not only, there's a good chance when I try to Facebook Live it might not come out well. Don't be disheartened, because I'm also bringing my camera with me, which will be on the tripod that will be recording it. Now, you won't be able to see that for like a week or two by the time I get back and edit it out and put it out there for everybody on our YouTube channel. But I think, I've seen people Facebook Live the River Lights, and I think we'll be all right. I think the one day everybody's going to have to worry about is that Memorial Day weekend with Pandora. I think the network. Yeah. Don't be surprised if that network crashes.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, they've made major improvements to the wireless network and everything else. Um, Also, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on this, so don't quote me. But right where Pandora
Hmm.
is right next to one of the towers for a certain, um, for a certain carrier.
Oh wow,
And
that's money.
but it's been there for quite some time. I mean, people don't normally notice it because it's actually camouflaged. It looks like a tree.
That's cool.
It looks like a really tall tree. But I'm like looking at it, I'm like, oh,
Well, yeah,
that's cool.
you got to remember those places. They just lease out that piece of land, so Disney has every right to be like, hey, yeah, you want to lease this piece of land? You don't, because Disney doesn't want a giant tower there. And I
No.
can understand it, but they also want to give the guests the best convenience of possible, especially in this day and age with, social media being what it is today. People need it. Not even if you're running a business, people are glued to their phones.
It's actually really kind of cool on how they do that because it's like one of the only towers that you actually see over the entire property.
Yeah, it's very true. Everything else is run underground.
Yeah. So,
I don't know why.
but being that your trip is actually coming up here very quickly. I mean, it's actually coming by quicker than I thought. I mean, heck, we're knocking on March's door already. Oh my
2 more
gosh.
days. Yeah. So yeah, what am I at? I'm at 20 days. I'm gonna start
Yeah. So I
packing.
mean, and yeah, you might have to pack. You might have to start looking at weather.com to figure out what kind of weather you might have to, accommodate for.
Yeah.
Saw someone today do a periscope from their backyard around the pool. Had beautiful weather. Hopefully that'll stick out. But
It was
now's the
raining
time
in
to
Disney
start
this
packing.
morning.
Yeah, and I saw a lot of people say it was still really busy today. I don't get it. And the other day, people were like, "Yeah, it's dead. It's really sporadic right now."
Wow.
But yeah, start checking weather.com. Um, there's also, and I'm going to have to link something to our blog on the our webpage. I actually wrote an article over at commonsensedisney.com a long while ago that actually showed had links that actually would show historical data, weather data for different parts of the year, and actually right down to the weeks of the month about rain and temperature fluctuations and so on and so forth. In case you really want to geek out on the whole what should I pack, because I want to be prepared for the weather bit. I always say, hey, pack for warm stuff. You could always add layers, and if you need layers, there's always mouse gear over at Epcot.
Wow. Weather Channel. As you were speaking, I went on Weather Channel, and the farthest it gives me is March 12th.
Okay, so you still have to wait. And that's like 10 days.
Yeah, that would
You
be
know,
like that'd be like 6 days before I go. I mean, and what I'm seeing is a good amount of rain in that forecast, but high 70s, low 80s. So expect it to go up.
and
Huh.
what are the lows?
Let's see. At night we got 58. Let's see. The coldest I've seen was they're looking at mostly sunny on Wednesday, March 8th, with a high of 73 and a low of 53.
Still
50
shorts weather.
Oh, 53 is cool. I'll be in the pool at 53. You kidding me?
Oh yeah, I mean, serious. I mean, it's like you may not want to get out of the pool,
Oh no.
but but to me that's still shorts weather. I mean, I may wear a hoodie, but I'll still be wearing shorts at that weather.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, even we went to Universal January of 15, 16, whatever it was. In the morning, like, it stunk. This was the only bad part. Is in the morning you walked outside. So I had shorts and like a very light zip up hoodie, basically very similar to the Behind the Ears podcast one I'm wearing right now. But by noon you were like sweating. And then you are stuck holding that sweatshirt all day. And I'm like, ah. But with that being said, Chris, is there anything else you would like to add to today's show?
I don't have anything else. I just want to say thanks to everybody for joining us on this nice 40 days of happiness journey that we're taking. And by all means, if you haven't, listened to some of our past episodes, go snag them. They're kind of funny. Some of them are shorter. Some of them are a little bit longer. And Danny and I are going to continue doing that for a little while longer. And by all means, if you have any show ideas for either one of us or as a combined show, feel free to drop us a line, behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, guys, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Ears Podcast. You guys can always follow our social media platforms. You can catch us live over at Facebook, Behind the Ears Podcast. You can always catch all our tweets at Behind the Ears PC. If you want to see any of those Instagram photos that we're getting excited about putting up in the month of March, that is Behind the Ears Podcast. Like Chris said, any listener questions, comments, concerns, like to be on the show, whatever you got for us, send it over to behindtheearspodcast@gmail.com. Maybe you missed one of our live shows and you don't know where to see it. Go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe to Behind the Ears Podcast, and you'll get all of our stuff over there. Don't forget, guys, we do some writing, and a lot of stuff comes out of our website. So go check out our website at www.behindtheearspodcast.net. And lastly, I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but please, guys, if you haven't already, even if you guys don't listen there, please go on iTunes, rate and review the show. It just helps the show climb that ladder, and it helps people find the show that much easier. So, guys, with that being said, thank you all for tuning into another episode. I am Uncle Danny. I am signing out.
And I'm Mr. Chris. Thanks again for joining us. And until we meet again, have a magical day. Thanks a lot, and take care. Okay, we're still live. Just stopped. Yeah. So don't do anything silly.
75.
There we go. I'm gonna 75. 75 what?
Number.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and stop broadcast now. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.